Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. And an interesting concept today. Andreas Lubbe has taken a puzzle that Adam Jaziri set and that we solved on the channel a couple of months ago and expanded it into a 9x9 format. I'm looking forward to giving that a go. But first of all, I do want to mention the Tennis Anyone pack, mostly by Glum Hippo, but partly by us. On Patreon, you can have a go at 6 Sudokus and a tough final meta challenge, a bit like a puzzle hunt or something. And that will enable you to send us an answer by the 20th of the month and see if you can be in with a chance of a prize. So join us on Patreon, give it a go. Some of the puzzles are definitely very approachable in this one. At least one of them is pretty difficult, but if you've been following us on the channel, you have the tools in your toolkit to solve the puzzle. Do give it a go. People have been finding it a lot of fun, as they have with our apps. I think next week we're going to have the final update to the Domino Sudoku app, and then for next month, no, maybe even for this month, we're hoping to be able to bring you our Line Sudoku app. But there are plenty of other apps. They involve killer cages, as does this puzzle today, and all sorts of things. So do try them out. They're all on links under the video, along with Sven SUDOKU PAD, the catalogue of our puzzles, our merchandise, the Discord server. But the first link is to Digits Merry-Go-Round by Andreas Lubbe. Yes, the puzzle by Adam Jaziri was called Grand Line and was a 7x7 puzzle with a very, very similar rule set. But Andreas has taken it one stage further and challenged himself to create a 9x9 version. So the rule set phrasing actually is very similar. Normal Sudoku rules almost apply. So we're putting I'm going to go through the rules now, then I'll have a go at the puzzle. The rules are these. We're going to put 1 to 9 in every row and every column. I didn't say box. Digits in a region cannot repeat. So they all have to be different digits, as do they. I think for these purposes there are some tiny regions. Actually, they couldn't have repeat digits in. Digits in a cage cannot repeat and must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. So those 3 will add up to 9 and will all be different. And that's it. That's all we get. No given digits, a few tiny little cages, and some region shapes. Do give it a try on the link under the video. You can maybe check the video length to try and work out how difficult it is. Not always a guide, because I sometimes make fatuous foolishnesses, follies, I suppose. But I am going to restart the clock and say, let's get cracking. So, how do we solve this? The 8 cage has a 1 in it, and well, it's a 3-cell 8 cage, so it has a 1 in it. This 8 cage doesn't have to have a 1 in it. This 3-cell cage is a 22 cage and must have a 9. And once I've done that, I've rather shot my bolt. Okay, I'm going to need to think about the puzzle somehow differently. Right, first things first. Not all of these cages are 9 cells, but quite a lot of them are. That one is 9 cells, that one is 9 cells. They're symmetrical counterparts because it is a grid with 180-degree rotational symmetry. That's 9 cells. Actually, so's that and that. But these ones aren't. These ones in the top left and bottom right corner, that's 8 cells. And that's 8 cells. And this one is 7. This middle one is 7. And those are the reasons why we have 4 digits left over in individual cells. Now yeah, okay, what I'm thinking about that, let me just colour these briefly. Let's make that bright green and this bright blue. So, and I'm going to make this purple. So in this puzzle, obviously the grid contains 9 sets of the digits 1 to 9 because of the first rule that there is 1 to 9 in each row and column. Now 6 of the regions each contain 6 sets of the digits 1 to 9. The remaining 3 sets are going to be divided up between green, purple and bright blue and these 4 cells. So if we're completing the green set of the digits 1 to 9, one of these cells is going to have that last digit and be green. One of them is going to have the last bright blue digit, and 2 of them are going to have the last 2 purple digits that don't go in this 7 cell area. I presume this is a way of thinking about the puzzle. We've got 2 cages in the bright blue area that add up to 18. And a single cage in the bright green area that adds up to 18. And we've got the geometry of the puzzle. Right. Where does this cell go in this region? Okay, do I abandon my colour scheme and start colouring this differently? No, I'm going to put in, I've got letters available. Okay, I'm going to use letters. I'm going to make this an A here in the corner. Where does A go in this region? It can't go there because they see it vertically. It can't go there because you'd have 2 A's in the row horizontally. So A goes there. Then you can ask where A goes in this region. And that A sees all of those cells. So this may propagate a lot. So we get A there. Then in this region, where does A go? We get to there. And then we stop. Because purple can't have A in those cells. But remember, purple doesn't have to confine A to this group of 7 cells in the middle. It could go there. And of course we've got the symmetry. Now, this cell I'm in the top right corner, this could be A. But for now I'm going to call it B. And let's see if we can establish if it is A. Now, B in this region, it's exactly the same deal as we were doing down there. Where does it go in this region? It must go there. Then in this region, B has to be there. And in this region, B has to be there. Now, A and B could still be the same as long as that was the 9th one. I don't know. Is there something to tell me that they are the same? I'm not sure I'm seeing it. Okay, here's a thought. Oh, here's a good... oh, this is perfect. This does it, I think. Where does A go in this bright blue region? And the answer is it doesn't. Which is a quite unusual answer when we ask that sort of question on the channel. But it matters today. All of those are A's, and they all see all of these cells. So none of them could be an A without there being at least one repeat A in a row or column. Yeah, so A is the digit missing from bright blue. But I think that works equally well with B, because B is looking down all of these columns at all the cells in bright blue. So B is the digit that is missing from bright blue. But hang on, A is the digit that's missing from bright blue. So now we know A is B, and we can call all of those A. And we do know that this is an A in the centre of the puzzle, in a cell that can't be higher than 5 because of the 8 cage. So all of these are going to be the same digit, and they're all going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And I've got more. This digit is different from all the digits in the 8 and 10 cage combined that add up to 18. Because all of those digits C and A. Actually, one thing to consider first of all is where is the 9th blue digit? I urged us earlier to consider these 4 as being the 9th blue, the 9th green, and the 8th and 9th purple digits. Well, the 9th blue digit that isn't in this region is A. And A can't be here or here. A is here or here. So one of these is bright blue. And the whole same situation occurs with green. In fact, we could have done the original deductions based on green as well. So these two digits that I've got highlighted are the last bright blue and the last bright green digit. And these two must be the last two purple digits, therefore. Which is weird, but it's right. It's right. Anyway, what I was coming on to next is that these 5 digits that add up to 18 must include, well, they don't include A, because A is not in this region. So together with A, which is quite little, the 6 digits, let's just call that A. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know which one of these is blue A and which one is green A yet. Together, these 6 digits have to add up to at least 21. I know that because I know that the minimum sum of any 6 different digits is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 equals 21. And we've got 18 there, and this one now can't be a 1 or a 2. I mean, the A digit, because then those 6 digits would only add up to a maximum of 20, and you couldn't have 6 different digits. So A is not 1 or 2. In fact, let's fill in A as 3, 4, or 5. That cell can't be a 1 anymore. Now, if A is 3, these are a 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. And that could work with a 2, 6 pair here and 1, 4, 5 here. If, on the other hand, A is 4, these are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. No, hang on. That doesn't add up to 18. Oh, it adds up to 17. These are 1, 2, 3. If A is 4, these are 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. And then that could be 1, 7 or 3, 5. Oh, bother. And I think with 5 in those cells, these have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Yes. Oh, maybe that doesn't work, because I don't think you can put 8 in any of these cells. If A was 5, can they be 1, 2, 3, 6, 7? No, that adds up to the wrong number. 18. 1, 2, 3 is 6. 1, 2, 4, 6, I don't know. I'm getting myself badly confused. I don't think it works for A to be 5, but I need to do this maths again. If these added up to 18 without A being 5, or without A, which is 5, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 does it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 does it, and 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 does it. But the only version of those without a 5 in is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and you cannot put an 8 in an 8 cage or a 10 cage, because the other two digits would both have to be 1s. So I don't think A can be 5 anymore. I think A is 3 or 4. And now this 9 cage has to have a 1 in it, because this is either 3, 3, 3, and you can't put a 3 in the cage, or it's 4, 4, 4, and you can't put a 4 in the cage. There are 3 ways of making up a 9 cage with 3 different digits. They are 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5, and 2, 3, 4. But that one without the 1 in it, 2, 3, 4, is no longer possible because it would clash with A, whatever A is. So there is a 1 in this cage. It's either 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. If it's 1, 3, 5, A's a definite 4. This cage in the middle is now definitely 1, 3, 4 because of that digit. I don't know if that's going to help, but it's true. I might have run out of inferences at this point. So these cages, 5's not possible. So if A is 3, these are 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And that's definitely a 2-6 pair then. But if A is 4, these are 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Well, that doesn't help that much. The 7 goes with the 1 in a cage, but I don't know which one. And annoyingly, this can still be a 1-7 cage, a 2-6 cage, or a 3-5 cage in each of the two different circumstances. Right, now, is there some sort of play the other way around? Yeah. Okay, no, simpler. Where do 9 and 8 go in blue? They don't go in the extra cell, which is an A and is 3 or 4. 9 and 8 can't go in either of these cages. 9 and 8 have to be in these. In fact, these are either 1, 2, 3, 4... No, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 with A as 4, in which case this is a 9, 8, 6 set. Or 1, 2, 3... No, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 with A being 3, in which case this is a 9, 8, 7 set. So these 3 digits are definitely include 9 and 8, which can't now be in those cells. And in this region, 9 and 8, and either 7 or 6, whatever it is, has to be in this group of cells. Now, that means 9 and 8 can't be in these, but of course one of them can be there, and 9 and 8 also can't be in these cells. So in the bottom row, 9 and 8 are in this group. Now 9 and 8 can't be in those. And now I've created an impossibility. Oh, no, I haven't. Sorry, I thought I was going to somehow have to squeeze 9 and 8 into both into this cell. No, there is no 9 and 8 in this group of cells, so there is a 9 and 8 in this group. It's not in the corner because of that 9-8 pair looking at that group. So 9 and 8 are here. Now, would the same apply to the third digit? If it's a 7, that's 9, 8, or 9, 8, 7 are included there and there. Yes, then they must be 9, 8, 7. And if it's 9, 8, 6, it's the same deal. 9, 8, 6 must be there, 9, 8, 6 must be there, 9, 8, 6 must be here. So these are from 9, 8, 7 and 6. And definitely include 9 and 8. Okay, this is getting weirder. You really can see why it's a merry-go-round now, but I just need to keep thinking about how it's going to work. Right, this A digit is not appearing in this blue cage. I keep looking at that and thinking it must be here. That's not right. It's not there. We know exactly where all the A's in the puzzle are. We've done them effectively. We don't know whether they're 3 or 4, but we know where they are. Now, right, we've looked at those 3 digits and where they propagate around the perimeter. This one's interesting. Where does this one go? I'm going to call this B. How inventive am I? Oh, and in fact, we used B earlier and it became A. Let's try C. More inventive. Right, where does C go in this region? It goes in this group, and it's the other one with 9, 8 and either 6 or 7. Where does C go in this region? It goes in this group. Now, where does C go in the green region? Remember, the green region is not confined to those cells because effectively one of these is green, but C can't go there. And C can't go in those cells, and C can't go in those cells, so this is C. And that is a weird relationship. It's the same relationship as prevailed down between those two cells, only it's between these remote cells. And it's going to work with this, isn't it? This is D, obviously. I've just named it. D can't be in that group and that group, so in those two regions it's in that group and that group. And now the only place for D in light blue is here. Oh, and that, my friends. Oh, I should have put on. No, I'm in big digits, so we can see. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. D and that, my friends, was what I was going to say, is why this is an 18 cage and this is a 10 cage, and there is a difference of 8 between them. Oh, that's gorgeous. Those two are consistent with those two. D plus C equals something. D plus C plus this cell, for now I'm going to call it E. D plus C plus E equal 10. D plus C plus F equal 18. And there are only 2 digits that will allow a difference of 8 in those sums where D and C are consistent. And they require that E is 1. So I'm not keeping that letter for long. And F is 9. And now D and C will add up to 9 and that 18 sum will work. D and C will add up to 9 and this 10 sum will work. And we've got a digit in the grid. We've got a 1 and we've got 2. In fact, 9 there means these can't have a 9 in. It doesn't mean much more than that. Yes, it does. Oh, look, this 14 cage has become an 8-6 pair. So this isn't 6. It's also this isn't 1 because of the 1 we placed. There is definitely a 1 in those cells. Now, let's just keep going with 9s. This region needs a 9. It's in one of these 3 cells. It could still be 9 there and 9 there, but this can't be 9 anymore. Are we going to pick away at the outsides one at a time? I think we might. What about the 6-8 pair? I don't know, actually. Now, this 8 cage, this is either 2-6 or 3-5. Now, annoyingly, I think those were possibilities depending on different values of A. If A is 3, this is obviously 2-6. If A is 4, these had to add up to 18 without 4. I think they had to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. This would be a 1-7-2 cage, and this would be a 3-5 pair. So 3 is definitely I don't know, 3 might be A. That's not an interesting digit in a way. There's got to be a high digit in D and C, by which I mean something over 4, because every pair that adds up to 9, which is what D and C do, has either got 5, 6, 7 or 8 in. Now, this can't have an 8 in, because there's already an 8 in green, and there's an 8 in that row and an 8 in this row. So it's not a 1-8 pair. It's either 2-7, 3-6 or 4-5. I was about to announce that it's 4-5 because blue needs a 4, but the 4 could come from the A cell if A is 4. Right, let's think about C some more. Or D, actually both maybe. C is here. It's not 8 or 6. It's part of a pair that adds up to 9 with D. Anyway, it doesn't go in those cells. So in this region, it can't be A, so it doesn't go there. So it goes in one of these 4. I don't know what it is, but I do know it's called C. So C is in one of those 4, and therefore not up here. C is also, because it's there, it's not in these. It's in one of these 4, and it's not there. Is this going to propagate around the grid? I have a feeling it's not quite so well. I'm a bit stuck. 1, 3, 4 there. I see me clinging on to the few certainties I have. Right, if A is not 4, blue then does need a 4, and this definitely becomes a 4-5 pair. If A is 3, this becomes 2-6. This is 7-8-9. And then DC are a 4-5 pair. So if A is 3, DC are a 4-5 pair. Actually, I think I've just said the same thing twice in different ways. If A is 3, no, if A is 4, what happens? Because then this is not a 4-5 pair. Now, if A is 4, what did we say these added up to? These were 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. So DC are then 2, 7. So DC are either 2, 7 or 4, 5 as a pair. 2 and 5 are effectively definitely covered in these regions. What am I meant to do with this? Oh, 1 in this region is in one of those cells. And therefore it's not here. And now we know where the 1 is in this 9 cage that has to have a 1 in it. It's here. So that is 2, 3 or 5. This now can't be a 2. C is 3, 5 or 6. But up here, oh no, that's not necessarily C. C is in one of these 4 cells, sorry. So 1 went into one of those cells. This 1 is also looking at those. So one of these is a 1. That's not so helpful. Nine is looking into those cells. One of these is a 9. I've written that in. 9 is looking into those cells. One of those is a 9. One of these is a 9. One of these is a 9. And that kind of peters out again. Right, in green, 1 has to be somewhere up here. Totally uninteresting conclusion, number 1. D. D is 2, 4, 5 or 7 and doesn't appear there. It's also not A. So D is in one of these cells as 2, 4, 5 or 7. And it's not in those cells, and it's not A, so it's in these cells. And that doesn't doesn't get me very far. Okay, how about the 6 and the 8? Whatever this is, can't be in the rest of the region. Could be there in this column, or it could be there. It can't really be anywhere else. Oh, here's an interesting question. Where is this digit in row 2? That is quite interesting. It can't be there because it's in the same cage. It can't be there because it's in the same column. And it can't be in these cells because they're in the same region. So where is that digit in row 2? It's got to be in one of these. And it's either a 6 there or a 5 here. So it isn't a 3. That's interesting. This now isn't a 5. If that's a 6, this is a 5. If this is a 6, that's a 6. I don't know what to do with that. 8? No, 8 could already be in this region. Am I going to have to get that door? I might do. Excuse me a second. Oh no, somebody else is going. That's good. Right, 1 is not in those. How about that? So 1 is somewhere in this group of cells, not in the 22 cage. It's in one of those. And that's not a 1. So one's been confined to these two. One is in one of those two. Oh, I'm getting bogged down now. And maybe I should be seeing something a bit clearer about this puzzle. This was either 986 or 987. And they also appeared up here. This is 5 or 6. Now one of those digits has to be in this 22 cage. But it could be in the same column because it could be the other one, as it were. Okay, if A was 3, this has to be 2, and this is a 6. And then it's here as a 6. What happens then? I don't know. I don't know what happens then. I'm totally missing something now. I mean, there is the fact that this 8 pair includes a 6 or a 5, and that digit in this column has to be in one of these two cells. I don't know, maybe this just goes round the grid. I'm also very suspicious that the difference between 9 and 17 is 8, just as it was between 10 and 18. I can't see a way of proving that that matters. Right, these two digits, be they 26 or 35, definitely go in these cells, in this region. Now, if they're 26, that sorts out this as 7, 8. DC are a 4, 5 pair. Seven, 8, 9, 4, 5. A is 3. And this would be 1, 2, 6. And 2 and 6 would have to appear here. I don't know. That seems to work. Maybe I need to propagate D around a bit more somehow. I don't know how to do that. I can't see a digit that... Oh, I mean, there's weird stuff as well going on. Like that 6, 8 pair both see that cell. One on the vertical and one in the region. I mean, what does that do for me? Nothing, honestly. It doesn't do anything. I'm not pencil marking that. It's the sort of thing you do have to bear in mind with these regional puzzles. Maybe there's a sort of law of leftovers use that I can't see it. I think I'm going to have to do something with this merry-go-round concept a bit more. Maybe I kind of have to posit whether this is 987 or 986. Or maybe think about A equals 4 and whether that works. In some ways, because I narrowed it down to 3, 4, 5 early, 4 seemed to be the favourite because it's the middle digit. But actually, I think that puts the most pressure on this box. Because if A is 4, that's a 2, 7 pair. This is 3, 5. Six, 8, 9, 4, 1. I just can't quite see what's going on. Sorry, I just need to get my handle on this somewhere. Is it a cage? Is it this 18 pair, this 14 pair, this 6, 8 pair? Because one of them is going to be not in this cage again. If that's a 6, this is a 5 and that's a 3. A's a 4. So if this is a 6, what does that do? 5 and 3. A is a 4. A being a 4 makes this a 2-7 pair. 6, 5, 3, 4, 2-7 pair, and 6, 8, 9 here. No, I cannot see what's going on. Oh, no. No, I thought of some. If this was a 4-5 pair, how could A be a 4? It wouldn't be, it would be a 3. That's the thing I'm missing there. Right. How about this 17 cage then? Something going on with that. Nine, 8, 7, 6. There can only be, what are the highest digits that could go in this? Not 9 or 8. We could put a 7 in these cells in column 1. The next highest couldn't be 6. I suppose it could be 5. 7 and 5 is 12. The lowest digit that can go in here is then a 5. But that can't work because 5 would repeat. So I reckon the lowest digit possible here is quite high, is 6, 7, 8 or 9. Now if that was a 6, these would add up to 11. There'd have to be 7, 4. And these would be 8, 6. And this would be a 3, and that would be 2, 6. 4, 5. We'd have 7, 8, 9 here. So maybe this can just be a 6. I don't know what's going on in this puzzle. Andreas, what have you done? It seems absolutely vicious to me. I need a big holistic insight of some sort, don't I? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? I do want to get this done, though. It's very, very interesting. But it's not easy. Right. A. Those are all the A's. If A is 4. I didn't really work out anything that happened if A was 4. D and C are a 2-7 pair then, and that's a 6-8 pair. 2, 7, 9, 6, 8, 4. This becomes 1, 3, 5. Again, you can then pursue it round the grid. 1, 3 and 5 would have to be in these cells. And then that would actually be 1, 3, 5 there, wouldn't it? That kind of makes me think 4. These would be 9, 8, 6 and 2 or 7. And they would have to appear up here. Three of them would appear in these cells. Okay, maybe I need to just think about D a bit more. D is there. It's in one of these. It's there. It's in one of those. Where else is D? In the final column, it's in one of these two. Now, I hadn't noticed that before, but that's true. So I'm going to mark those as D in one of them. I want to say the other digit in that pair of cells is the 6 or 7 that's not there. But since C could be 7, that's not quite true. It's very close though. Okay, let me think maybe about the 22 cage. What's going on with the 22 cages? Have we got more resolution on that than I can see? These 2 digits in the 22 cage, where do they go? They're from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where do they go in row 2? Well, they don't go in the same region. They don't go here because of Sudoku and they see it. And they don't go here because that's 2 or 3 and can't be either of them. So those 2 digits go in this group of cells. One of them can be 9. I mean, I have to acknowledge that. One of them can be 9. But the other one is either 7 or 5 from there or 6 or 8 from here. And indeed, that could be both of them. If this was 9, this would be a pair from those 2 cells. Maybe that's the first thing to break. This being a 9 in the 22 cell itself. What does that do? That keeps 9 out of all of these cells. And that one. Oh, I don't know. Oh, maybe. What about C and D in purple? I haven't thought about that. C is looking at that cell. And C is looking at that cell. So C has to be in this group. D is here, so it can't be there. It's in one of those, so it can't be there. So D is also in this group. Unless C or D could be 3 or 4. Okay, that was a dangerous conclusion about C. Can't make it. I know it's not all 1 in these cells, obviously. Okay, that wasn't any good. What is any good here? What on earth am I meant to be focusing on? This 6-8 pair just doesn't seem to be helping at all. Okay, why are 2 of these digits having to be in that cage? Right, this one must be in one of these 4 cells, let's say. This one is not D, so it's not there, and it's also not in those cells. So this one, which is also not A, is definitely in one of these. Therefore, it's not in any of these, and it is in one of these. That's interesting. So this cell is in one of those 4. And in the top row, therefore, it's in one of these 3. Two or 3. Imagine it's a 2. Then that's a 6. 6 in the end column is here. I think the only way for this to be 2 is if it's D, and it's not D. I've said it's not D. Right. I don't think this can be 2. Because I think what happens then is this digit is a 6. I wanted to say that 6 now has to be in these cells, but maybe 6 is in those 2. Oh, that's incredibly annoying. Bother. Let me just think about this again. If this was 2, that would be 6. Now, that is not D, and it can't be in those cells. So 2 would be in one of these 2. This would be a 2-6 pair. That would have to be 7, 8, 9. And then 6 would have to go into this pair. That works. Bother. Okay, let's go the other way around. Let's say this is 3. and that's a 5. Ah. Oh, no, 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 that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That's the one that doesn't work. Now, am I right or am I wrong? I was wrong last time. If this is 3 and that's 5, where's 3 in blue? It's not A. It's going to have to be in this cage. But if that's 5, where's 5 in row 2? There you go. If that's 5, 5 is not in these cells in the same region. It's going to have to be here. But if 3 is in that cage, 5 can't be C, because it has to be in this cage with the 3. That is not a 3. I've done it. Well, I've done this step. That is a 2. That is a 6. Now, don't tell me that it actually doesn't propagate anywhere, because I'm just going to cry. These C's can't be 2s now, so the D's can't be 7s by the same, because D and C add up to 9. That's why. 2 in D could still be 2. No, it can't. One of those is D. D is seeing that 2, so D can't be 2 either. And now D and C are a 4-5 pair. Yes. Yes, this is a 2, 6, 8 cage. These don't have a 6 in. These are 7, 8, 9. 1, 2. Right, we have a 6 in this pair, and we have D, which is 4 or 5. And that means A is a 3. Huzzah. Right. A is a... Oh, double party. That's 3 in both corners, losing both its religions. Oh, excellent. Okay, well, I mean, and that changed the number of digits I'd written in this puzzle from 5 to 14 in an instant. Now, we know something. We know a bit about D and C. D is 4 or... C and D are a 4-5 pair. That's what we know. So one of these is 4 or 5. Now, we've got 7, 8, 9 here. So these include a 7 now. They are 7, 8, 9, and either 4 or 5. So this is a 1, 2, 6 triple in the top row. 1, 2, 6, 9, 4, 5, and 3 in green. I'm just randomly assigning that as green. This is now an 8, 7 pair. Actually, I don't think I'm ever going to deduce which... It's not part of the rules, actually, that there are 9 cell regions that are disjointed. It's just, I can uncolour those, basically. Especially now I know the constituents of these cages. Right, come on. Come on, let's make progress now. 1, 2, and 6 in column 1 have to be in these cells, along with either 4 or 5. Now, what can these add up to? 11 at most. But that would be with 6, 5, which would make this a 6. That's not possible. So this is at least 7. Probably. Oh, this can't be a 6, 5 pair. Oh, that's intriguing. Right. This can't be a 6, 5 pair because this would have to be another 6. So one of 6 or 5, this can't be a 4, 2 pair because this would have to be an 11. So one of 6, 5 goes into this pair and something else. It could be 6, 4, 7. Or 5, 4, 8. I think it's probably 6, 2, 9, but I can't show that. Okay, let's see. Along the bottom, we've got 7, 8, and 9 in this group. And either, well, and D. So these are 1, 2, 6, and C. Gosh, this is getting weirder and weirder in some ways. Now, these include a 7 as well as 1 and D. So this shape has... it's got a 6 there, so that's become an 8 because it's in the same region. 6 there. Now, this region leaves 6 in this road in one of those two. Now, if this was a 9-7-6 cage, that would have to be 6, and this would be a 9-7 pair. And that cannot be. 7 is in one of those cells, so it's not in either of these two. So neither of these two can be 7 or 6. This must be a 9-5-8 cage. Oh, I thought I knew C was in it, and I don't definitely know that. I'm going to take the corner mark. I'm going to take the corner mark 9 out of that cell. One of these is still 9, but I mean, I have a feeling this is telling me that D is 4 and C is 5. But since that could still be a C and could theoretically be 4, I don't think I can reach this conclusion. That's really annoying. Oh, we've needed 2 in this region. How about that? Where's 2 going to go? It's got to go here, hasn't it? It's got to. Am I missing something? It is a 9-cell region. It needs a 2. 2 has to go there. Now, these have to be 9 and C. C is 4 or 5. So they are 9 and 5. C is 5. We've done it. C is 5. So, well, we've done C and D now. C is 5. D is 4. That is a 4-6 pair. This is a 5-9 pair. Let's get rid of all the corner marks. This is now 1-4-7. I really don't need to know anymore that what D and C are. This is 5, 7, 8, 9. Now these regions are coming down to reasonableness. Ah, there's no 4 in this pair, and there's one of these high digits, 6 or 5, but not both. I think this now has to be a 6-2 pair. Basically, given that you can't have both 6 and 5, this region is now this cage is now maximum. 6 and 2 there, and 9 there makes 17. Must be 9 there, 6-2 here, and this is a 1-5 pair. That's an X-wing on 1s in rows 5 and 6. That's going to use both 1s in those pairs, so 1 can't be there. One of these is a 1. Now what can we do? This stuff is now 4, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and the grid looks a lot tidier. Those, C was a 5. So one of those is a 5. I don't know if I need this. One of these is a 4. And now I've got no more letters in use. Good. Okay. Good. Now, what next? I mean, does it get easier? I'm willing to bet it doesn't. But that 2 was just sitting there, for instance, staring me in the face. Okay, 1 and 6 can't go in those. So 6 has to be in one of these cells in this region. And that sorts out the 2-6 pair at the bottom. Now, how are 2s going? Oh, only those 3. Now, can we put something in this region that's going to sort out the 2-6 pair here? I feel we ought to be able to. None of these are a 6. So 6 in this row is in one of those 2 cells. That can't be 4 or 9. So it's definitely 7 or 8. Look, we've got 3, 6. This can't be 5 or 9. So that's definitely 7 or 8. This is definitely 7 or 8. And that is still... Oh, that's a 7-8 pair in the row. That is still definitely part of the purple. Is that definitely 7 or 8 as well for some reason? Can't be 1, 6, 3. Can't be 5, 4, 9. Ooh, 2, 7 or 8. Is there a way to make it not 2? 2 in this region can't be here. It is there. And now that can't be 2. And it's part of a 7-8 pair. I wonder if I'm going to be colouring 7s and 8s in a moment. These have become 2, 5, 6, 9 in purple. I'm going to uncolour the whole grid now because the colouring has served its purpose. And now I'm going to start colouring 7s and 8s. Don't know if it's going to help, but just in case, let's go, sorry, old green. and purple for those two. Now, what I learnt is that those are effectively in the same region. So that's green, and that's purple, and that's purple, and that's green. And it's quite interesting, even if it's not going to yield anything immediately. But now, these are 2, 4, 5, 9. That one can't be a 2, because 2 is definitely in this cage. 2, 4, 5, 9. That's an 8. I haven't written that in, even though I got that 5, 9 pair ages ago. 8. Oh, do I? Yes, it's green. Bingo, because it sees that cell. Right. So the purples are 7s. The greens are 8s. This is something. This is progress. Come on. Come on. 1, 2, 4, and 6 still to go in this column. And 4 must be in that group. Why doesn't it suddenly all get easier? I don't know. 8 in this region. Can't, oh, 8 and 7 can't be in those cells or in that one. This is an 8-7 pair in this region. That's funky. 9 in this region must be in one of those two. These regions are so odd. 7 in this region is in one of those 3. I wonder if there's a way of me knowing which one it is. Okay, let's look at this. We've got 6 and 7, 8 there. 3 is in the region already. 9 has to be in one of those two. These are from 1, 2, 4, 5. These 1, 2, 4, and 6. One of them's definitely a 4. These can't have a 7 in, obviously. One of them is green 8. But this needs a green 8 somewhere in there. So that's not 8. That's 9. That's green 8. That fixes 7 and 8 here. I'm going to keep colouring them because they've been quite helpful, even if it's only legacy colouring now. Now, that has dealt with 7 in this column, 7 in this row. Oh, 7 in this region is in one of those two. Surely the law of leftovers might be helping me here. Okay, I'm going to think about... Well, there is a 7 down here. It's not there. One of those two is a 7. And there is a 7 in this region, and it's in one of those 3. So that's not 7. So the 7 in this new region that I'm in now is up here. There we go. And it's effectively like the law of leftovers. That's not a 7. 7 is in one of those two cells. 7 down here is in one of those two, and 7 in row 8 is in one of those. 8s. That deserves some colouring. 8 in the top row is in one of those two. I fear we're going to be... Oh, and 8 in this row is in one of those two. That's getting interesting. So 5, 8 and 7 are definitely in this group. Along with 1, 2, 4 or 6. Gosh, this puzzle's head-wrecking. Now, I've used all the cages. They're done. They are done. There's nothing I can do with them. So I'm really just down to this irregular Sudoku, desperately trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Now, have I got to find... Where was it? It was 6 and 8 couldn't be in that cell. Well, they can't. That's fine. I've got to find some relations like that maybe now. That's hard. Nine, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5 or 6. That can't be a 2. That can't be a 2. We've placed... How are we doing on 2s? We've still only got 3 of them. Is it worth... Yeah, okay. No, I was going to say one of those is a 2. Okay, I'm going to just use a bit of orange to highlight possible 2s so I can see where the possibilities are. One of those is a 2, that's right. Then in this row, I shouldn't really do it by rows. One of those 2 is a 2. None of those are 2s. See, this is interesting. 2 is in one of those positions, and they both see that cell. Isn't that bonkers? But that means that can't be a 2. But I don't know what that means. It doesn't really mean anything I can actually point to and use, I don't think. Oh gosh, this is crazy now. Okay, I don't really like all the orange highlighting I did, so I'm going to get rid of it. It just wasn't really helping me see anything. I need to find something else instead now. Have we got a 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9? Where does 7 go in this column? In one of those two? Oh yes, we reduce 7s to this group of purples, and 8s to this X-wing of greens. I wish they would help more. I'm probably just not seeing a shape clearly enough now. Let's look at this one. 2, 4, 5, 9, 3, 8, 7. 6 and 1 must go in this, along with either 4, 5 or 9. Right, 4 can't go in here. There's a 1 in one of those 2 cells. So that's not a 1. That's the point. Okay, I mean, why does that take so long to see? So now 4 has to be in one of these cells in this region and not here, which is 5 or 9. And whichever one of these is 5 or 9 is the same as that cell. What about this? Haven't pencil marked it at all. Can't be a 4 because 4 must be in one of those in the row, and that's in the same region. So I've nearly pencil marked every cell now, just these to do, which can't be, well, they are from 1, 5, 6 and 9. For some reason I don't believe this can be a 1. That's an X-wing. Ah, an X-wing which removes other 1 possibilities over here. What's going on in this row? I don't know. Isn't what's going on in that row? It's so hard to see all the relationships between columns and rows and cells here. 1 and 6 are in that group. So we've either got an X-wing on 6s there. No, I don't know. I was going to say or an X-wing on 1s here, but that's not grounded in any necessary reality. This can't be a 5-9 pair because of that. Oh, 6 can't be in those cells for a long time that I just haven't seen. So 6 is definitely in one of these 2, and that fixes this as a 4, and that's a 6, and this isn't 6, and that 4 sees this cell. And also the 6s that I've just marked see that cell. Now, we've got a sort of 5-9 thing potentially going on there. Yeah, that's interesting. This can't be 9 Or they would both be 5s, and neither of those cells could be a 5. That's weird, isn't it? So this is 2 or 5. I don't think... Ah, that gives me a 1, 2, 4, 5 quad, and I can do 9 in the row. Okay. I was about to say, I don't think that gives me anything wrong. It means that in this old purple central region, 5 is now in one of these 2 cells, and therefore not in anything else in that column. This is bit by bit, isn't it? But I think we're beginning to get there. And I do want to keep going, because it is just fascinating, this puzzle. I mean, there's something going on with all these tiny bits of restriction in the middle. Here, what have we got? 1, 5, 4, 6, 9. 1, 4, 5, 6, 9 in that group of cells. One of those must be the 9 in the row, and then that can't be a 9 either way. That's one of these weirdnesses. I don't know what to do next. It's so hard. You just have to keep fishing and find. I mean, it could be basic Sudoku, or there could be a digit just looking at something that you're shouting at and I can't see. I have to live with that. Oh, that can't be a 9, for instance. I mean, that's blatantly obvious, but just didn't see it yet. 5, 8, and 7 are definitely in that group, so that's not a 5 either. Haven't fully pencil marked this row, which I thought I had. These are from one of those digits. One of these has to be a 4. Wow, where do we go next? I don't know. I do not know. Okay, if that's a 2, well then the 5 in the region is there, and that couldn't be a 5. This is interesting. If that's 2, that's 4, and that's 1. Then that's 1. Oh, I don't know, there's something going on there, I feel. If either of these were 2, that's a 6-9 pair, and this is 2-5, which is quite a constrained circumstance. If either of those are a 2, this ends up being 9. And this ends up being 9 in the row. What's that doing? Oh, I tell you what, if either of those are a 2, that's not a 2 because they both see it. And one of them is a 1. Definitely in the row, so that's not a 1. Is that interesting? It makes it 2 or 5. That feels interesting. Oh, okay, the more simple thing is, where does 4 go in the column? And there seems to be only one place for it. Okay, that's a 4, sorry, 4 there. If you spotted that ages ago, well done. Now this has become 2 or 5 only. And if it's 2, that's a 1, 4, 6 set. This is 5, 7, 8. This can't be a 9 anyway, because of that. Oh, come on, keep thinking. Now, if that was a 2, neither of those would be a 2. That gets interesting. That's where it gets interesting. That doesn't work. If this was a 2, oh, it does. I was going to say that's a 2 and it can't be. Bother. If that's a 2, neither of those are a 2. So one of those is a 2. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Look. Yeah, it doesn't work. If that's a 2, that sees that cell and that cell. One of these is a 2. That's not a 2, therefore, because one of those is a 2. So that's not a 2, but that 2 would also see that cell. And there'd be nowhere for 2 in row 5. How hard is that? It's very hard. But that becomes a 5. Because that's all it can be anymore. My goodness, if that is necessary to solve this puzzle, this is a beast. That is now a 1-2 pair. This is now a 6-9 pair. This is now 5 and 2 in this central region. That becomes 4. That's 6. That sorts out 4 and 1 in the middle box. That sorts out 5 and 1. That's a 9. That's a 5. Come on. That's not 1. That's not 6. In fact, that's the only place for 6 in the row. That makes 9 and 6 resolved. That does 7 and 9 at the bottom. That does 8 and 9 at the top. That does 8 in green and 7 in purple. And that does 7 and 1 there. Okay, so let's just get rid of some of the colours and get them right. There we go. Those ones, and that's not 7. Right. I think that has sorted out all the 7s and 8s and even coloured them. Actually, there might be something missing. No, maybe they're all there. Okay, good. Don't worry about the 7s and 8s. We've done them. Got a 1-2 deadly pattern that is obviously going to get resolved any moment. That's fine. Now, along here we can't have a 9. That must be a naked 4 now. Don't see how to do that 2-5 pair yet. This is a 1, an I-wing. That is not a 1 or a 5. That's a 6. That's a 1. I think I'm going to actually finish off now. This is a 4-5 pair that can be written in. This is a 2. That sorts out 5 and 2. This is resolved by a 1 in its region. And there we go. I am very proud of solving that puzzle. That is extremely hard, and 69 minutes on the solve, I don't care. I'm very pleased with that. That really feels like a brain stretcher. I'm going to be utterly disappointed if there was a much cleaner way of seeing it all the way through, which there could have been, because it was so elegantly neat and revolving. I mean, exactly like the merry-go-round of the title. It's a lovely idea by Andreas, an extraordinary conception. Could have made it a bit easier later on, couldn't he? Anyway, that's just for me. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.